Hey guys, here we go again. Still playing the budget thing. Got Dralnu going on against Marchesa, the Black Rose. Human wizard with dethrone, gives all your creatures dethrone. Haven't seen this creature too much. Usually when you see someone playing Grixis, they're playing something like Jaliva. And but I guess if you have a lot of ways of dealing damage to yourself, then dethrone becomes a lot more powerful. And certainly the ability is pretty insane, actually, because once your guys attack once, they become unkillable and keep coming back over and over and over again, which can obviously be problematic, especially for budget control decks who don't have things like Cyclonic Rift and just few sweepers in general. This is quite an awesome game. I'm going to go stick Marchesa over there. And I'm up against Karaj X. Actually, this is the second game I played against him. First game was I was actually playing with Edric, and I had a gross start with a Boreal Druid into the little counterspell Drake, the little 1/1 flyer that can power sink for 1 into Edric, and he cast this enchantment on turn 3 that where you can pay 3 life to give +1/+1 to a creature, and he just pumped all my guys up and committed suicide with it, which was rather hilarious. But I guess that's one of his his self-damaging cards, and there are quite a few other ones, as you'll see. So fortunately I get to go first. Totally keepable draw, not exceptional. No counters but muddle, but at least I have both colors of mana and 1 accelerator. Certainly easy keep. Dralnu invaded the board. Let me go stick him over where he belongs. Get out of here, buddy. Alright, so we're scrying. And I guess, well, I saw a Jor Island Refuge, another blue-black land. So even though it's my second source of easy black, I decided that I have enough mana sources right now and I need some action, so I put it on the bottom. Foil Swamp. Alright, cool. No Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. It'll be a fair game. I'm just going to play this Everflowing Chalice since I'm not concerned about muddling right now. A little bit of thought to playing Dreadship Reef and charging it at the end of the turn so that I could him. But I figure there's no real rush to do that right now. I don't like the him right at the beginning of the game anyway. It tends to be a lot more potent when you're hitting him with fewer cards in hand. Vampiric Tutor. Alright. I'm wondering what he's going to go get. I just fully expect him to get something like a Soul Ring or Crypt, since I was just talking about it. But we'll see. Alright, Barbarian Ring. I certainly didn't get that. Dark Confidant. Yuck. Alright, well, maybe he got that. That's certainly very, very good against my deck. I'm going to have to go immediately muddle for a solution unless I draw one, and that is not a solution. So even though he gets to use it for 1 turn, I am going to fetch right now to kill it off. And yeah, I didn't see any point in holding on to the muddle for the turn and just transmuting and killing next turn, because I fully intend to use the muddle to go get a removal spell right now. No reason to hold it since I'm not planning on countering anything with it anyway, because I need to get that Confidant off the board. And gave a little bit of thought to getting Chainer's Edict here, but I figured it wasn't worth the risk. If you played a second creature, the Edict would look extremely terrible and I could just lose to the Confidant. So I just got to go for the simplest form of removal and go for the Throat. He reveals. That's 9 damage right there, revealing Blasphemous Act, which is hilarious because, yeah, that's kind of like the ultimate card against Dralnu. And obviously not against the deck, but just against the general. Dealing 13 damage to Dralnu is pretty impressive. And actually, that brings up another point. I think I've played probably 100 games with the Dralnu deck now between online and live, and I have yet to have a person deal a single point of damage to the creature, which is kind of awesome. As far as I'm concerned, it has no drawback. Alright, Dark Confidant hits me for 2. So we're just going to get rid of that. Alright, Bojuka Bog actually is really nice because it's going to give me the ability to go for the Throat this turn and remove this guy from the graveyard permanently, as well as get a second black source into play. So we're just going to do that. Kill that guy off, even though it means he gets to pump up his Blood Flow Connoisseur. Oh yeah, and as far as dethrone is concerned, if you're interested in damaging yourself, then flipping over Blasphemous Act is a pretty good way to do that. Alright, I'm going to eat up his graveyard here. And those 2 cards, Confidant and Vamp Tutor, definitely worth more than my whole deck. Alright, Underground River. Oh, wonderful. Necro. Well, now I know what he probably tutored for before he even played the Dark Confidant. And I have 2 blue mana up, and he has no respect for it whatsoever. And lucky for him, I have nothing that can stop it. Fortunately, he dealt a boatload of damage to himself earlier, so while Necro is insane, of course, in any situation, it's not actually as ridiculous as it normally would be in the format. It's almost like it's Necro in regular Magic as opposed to EDH. Take 2. And glad to see him over Necro by at least 1. Too many people who play this card just Necro for up to their max hand size and sit there, which I think is almost always incorrect. Alright, so he throws away Mountain. Alright, well, we really need to draw some business here, and I'm honestly almost at the point where I'm just going to slam Dralnu if I have nothing better to do. Okay, well, I drew a lapse, so that means Dralnu's coming out on the turn after this one. So we're going to just him for now. Hopefully we get something good that isn't Blasphemous Act. Hatred. Well, it makes sense in the deck, right? Given that he wants to damage himself with Dethrone stuff. It would have been quite hilarious to Memory Lapse a Hatred. But he's way behind in life now anyway, so it wasn't really a threat. Just going to play that so I can charge it. Alright, tapping mana. I fully expected him to just play his General here now, right? Because then he can pump up the Connoisseur again. Actually, I guess it already has a counter on it, so it can't get dethroned. Olivia, Voldaren. This thing is an absolute nightmare for Dralnu to deal with. Pinging on a stick and the ability to steal it. So I just have to lapse and hope to draw a solution later. Even though he's down to 3 cards in hand, he gets Necro for 5 more against my blue-black deck that can't deal damage. I get Bash for 2. Alright, let's charge the Reef and pray. Come on, deck, deliver. 5 more cards. God, how is this game winnable? I have 2 land in hand and nothing going on. He throws away this hasted Unleash guy. It's kind of cool. Also very good with Dethrone. Doomblade. Perfect. Perfect answer to this guy and to the Olivia. Alright, that's total junk. But barring anything else left to do, let's just play Dralnu. He has 7 cards in hand, and one of them is Blasphemous Act, which currently costs 7. He has 5 mana in play. So literally, if he draws a Soul Ring or Mana Crypt, I am deader than dead. But, you know, what are you going to do, right? I can't just sit here. And I see him tapping all this mana, and he plays Zealous Conscripts, and obviously normally I wouldn't care about that. And for a bit, I actually thought that he would do the smart thing, which is use Dralnu to cast his Vampiric Tutors sitting right in the graveyard. And instead of doing that, he just beats me for 3. I have no idea what to make of that, but at least I can Doomblade the Zealous Conscripts and not take 3 damage. And of course, he'll sack it to his Connoisseur, but I'd rather take 1 extra than 3. Since I don't really see this card having much use otherwise, I'm going to have to do it anyway. Plus, it fuels up the Blasphemous Act some more, and I don't want creatures in play. So, yeah, I take 5, or 6 now, and then of course he sacks my Dralnu post-combat to kill it. And Necros for 3 more. Yep, going up to 8. He is at 12, but it's 8 cards to basically 0 here. Is not looking good for the home team. Discards Feast on the Fallen. Beginning of each upkeep from the opponent lost life. That seems terrible, but whatever. Alright. Guess he has a lot of ways to interact with counters, so makes sense. Skeletal Vampire. Well, normally I would be overjoyed to draw this. This thing just seems like the perfect answer. Not only is it an awesome clock that deals with his threat, but it also puts him under tremendous pressure to kill me before he dies to the Skeletal Vampire and the Necro. Unfortunately, it does enable the Blasphemous Act, and even worse, as we know, he has Olivia in his hand, and Olivia is very good against what this creature just happens to be, which is a vampire. I'm just hoping he doesn't notice. There's a small chance of that, I suppose, but at least it's 2 turns, so I mean, attack maybe for a little bit of damage. Plays Crumbling Necropolis, and the reason I didn't play Dralnu next turn, of course, was because between the 2 creatures and him playing an untapped land, he would have the requisite 9 mana to Blasphemous Act and blow my entire board up. So I couldn't risk that, of course. And it turns out he does have a come and play tap land, although he probably had other ones in hand too. He's just playing that because he has nothing better to do. Plays Olivia. I guess he doesn't have a red, though. Alright then. And he smacks me for 4 more. Of course, I'm going to just take the damage. Alright, charge the Dreadship Reef here. It's up to 2 mana, which is good. Alright, we need some goods. Forbid. Yeah, that's just a turn too late. Alright, well, let's send in Mr. Vampire. And I could have attacked with everything here, and when he blocked, I could just sack that creature to make 2 more bats, which isn't a really crazy play. But I'm hoping he's going to spend some mana to try to ping one of these bats, and I can sack it then in response. I guess I could always just sack it to the Skeletal Vampire to prevent him from getting counters on Olivia. But I've got him down to 8. Alright, now here's the part of the game where we just hope that my opponent doesn't read his own cards and doesn't realize that Olivia can just steal this thing. Alright, so he just ends his turn. He doesn't necro, he doesn't do anything, he just says done. So, of course, at end step, I'm going to sack one of my bats to make another one. Make 2. So he taps 2 mana. And this is a very strange play. Instead of pinging this bat, he pings my vampire, presumably to turn it into a vampire. So I was kind of half right in that he wouldn't completely read it. I mean, it is called Skeletal Vampire. I'm not sure what creature type he thinks that is. But either way, he's figured out that he can steal it, which still sucks for me. Alright, I'm just going to charge in response. I do get 2 more bats, though. But yeah, we are in deep shit here. Even though he's at 7, Olivia can just mow these guys down, and I have no way to sack them anymore. And I'm going to be on a clock of like roughly 2 turns with just a Forbidden Hand. Unless the top of my deck delivers a miracle. Come on, deck. Be there. Future Sight. Man. Timely. Timely indeed. Alright, I'm going to play Future Sight. And ask for another miracle. Come on. Treasure Cruise. Wow. What a card to turn over right now. I have 5 juicy targets in the graveyard, and I also have this Dreadship Reef, which conveniently makes 3 mana. And, of course, I'm going to tap this and drain it out completely over using the Bojuka Bog, because I need all the mana. And if I do draw an island off the top 3, and, of course, the Future Sight reveal, then I still have the Forbid and the ability to maybe do something. So we're just going to drain 3 counters, eat my entire graveyard for Delve, and cruise. Deliver. Alright, well that sucks, but look what's on top. Recoil. Amazing. Alright, play the island. There's no need to forbid. We're just going to recoil that sucker. That gets the vampire back. And of course he has to discard to it, which is awesome. He discards Vendalian Click. Smash for 3. Look at that. So his mistake there of not pinging the vampire randomly over one of the bats and not killing off a bat means that he takes an extra point of damage there, and he is down to 4 life with Necro out and only 5 cards in hand, and me with Future Sight and Diabolic Tutor on top. He's necroing, dead. Amazing. What an amazing game this was. Holy cow. To have your opponent resolve Necro, and I think he was still at 26 or 27 health, and to basically have no cards in hand, peeling Skeletal Vampire against the Olivia, and then a couple turns later hitting the Miracle Future Sight into Treasure Cruise, into Recoil, and pulling this crazy game out. Really, really cool game to play. And always very satisfying, of course, to beat the somewhat fully powered regular EDH decks with budget. Hope you like that one, and I'll have more to come soon. See ya.